My name is Bernadette Brady, and I'm one of the authors of The Stories of the Stars, the report from Astrology. And what I want to do in this short video is talk to you about the role that the stars play in your astrology, and therefore the role that the stars play in your life. I think we all start really young in astrology, and it starts when we look up at the heavens and we see a starry sky, probably when we're just pint-sized. And for us, it fills us with awe and wonder and mystery. And instead of seeing it as something beyond us, we see it as something inside us. We see ourselves as part of that living cosmos. And for us, it is alive, divine, and meaningful. As we take that forward through our lives, we reach for horoscopes to talk to us about our unique relationship with the planets, the sun, and the moon. But the sky is not black just with a few planets in it. The sky is also a living cosmos full of stars. So what are the stars in terms of what do they mean for us? Are they relevant to our astrology? Well, to understand the stars in human life, we can go back to the earliest writings, which come from the Old Kingdom in Egypt about 2,500 BCE. And for them, the stars were linked to the idea of soul. And the pharaoh, upon death, would ascend upwards and reunite with the stars. And indeed, all souls eventually would go upwards and reunite with the stars. So the Egyptians linked the idea of stars with souls. Meanwhile, in Mesopotamia, the Mesopotamians were linking the idea of human life, daily life, to planets. The Egyptians weren't worried about that. They wanted to actually connect up with the eternal soul. This idea of soul and star was carried forward by Plato some 2,000 years later, and he saw the stars also connected with soul, but instead he saw the human souls living in the stars, and then they would incarnate down onto the earth through the spinning of the earth, through the rotation of the earth on its axis. And he saw this rotation of the earth as the spindle of necessity. The souls came down and went through this spinning and then landed on the earth through this spindle. So what Plato gave us is he gave us the way that the soul and the star are linked and then placed down on the earth. And he did this by the turning of the earth, the spinning of the earth's axis, which translates to the idea of when a star is rising and setting and a planet is rising and setting, then the two are married together. So it gives us this way of looking at it. Indeed, this was the first way of working with stars, and it's called Parens. And when we do that, we gain something extra. We gain an additional meaning about our own lives. We get an insight, a flicker, a look at almost like a bit of soul stuff that's in us before it comes down onto the earth. It is something beyond the realm of the planets. And this is what we've tried to reach for when we've written the reports on the stories of the stars. Because this report tries to look at the special relationships you have to just a handful of important stars that were active through the spindle of necessity at the time and place that you were born. Does this work? Is this useful? Yes, we think it does. And indeed, here's a little bit of feedback which I got just the other day. And this is from Marguerite from France. And she says, I downloaded a report of stories from the stars for both my son and me, and I am moved by it. I've never heard the meanings of the stars. So this is a person who is engaged with astrology, but hadn't really encountered the depth of the stars. And the concept of I am moved by it, her words, are the words that I often hear in this regard, because it's not an intellectual response. It's about a recognition that when you read or when you encounter your star stuff, there is a sense of a recognition inside your being, a sense of a deep understanding, and you recognize that there's something there that maybe hasn't been articulated in the horoscope, but resonates with you deep inside you. So she's moved by it. And she goes on to say, the way you take the information and create such a meaningful report is flabbergasting. And what she's meaning is not that we are flabbergasting, is that the information in the stars about her is flabbergasting. And she goes on to say, with her French way of using English, the report says things about me that I seem to never have read like that. In other words, she's never encountered this information before, even though she fundamentally recognizes it in herself. She finds it flabbergasting and she's deeply moved by it. She continues, your report is written with so much humanity, so much hope for people to develop themselves in the good way. I'm very impressed, which is nice of her to say that. But that's the point. It's not just a matter of knowing the star stuff, but the report also tries to give you information about how to live with it, not about suppressing it, making it go away, but embracing it and getting the most out of it. So the Stories of the Stars is from the Astrodance website. That's where you get it. And you can try out, you can get a mini version of your own stories, your own connection to the stars here for free, just a taster. You can also look at a couple of complete reports, one for the Dalai Lama and one for Oprah Winfrey. This will give you an idea of the layout and the nature of the contents. And you'll recognize these people in these reports. You'll see what drives them. You'll see what pushes them, because you'll actually be reading their star stuff, that divine star spark inside them. And it will just give you an idea of, as you can see it in them, hopefully you can see it in your own report as well. So just to conclude, you can touch the stars. The stars are important in your life. You can explore these stars and this part of you to start to get an insight into your star spark, your star stuff. And you can do that through the report stories from the stars. So welcome to your stars.